By now, most of us know that we have different attachment styles within relationships, right? Good. But how do you communicate with your partner based on their specific attachment style? That's what we're going to talk about today. But first, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. Vanessa Milagros, and I'm a licensed mental health professional. If you learned something new from today, make sure to subscribe or leave a comment down below with any questions you have. Let's jump into today's video. First, let's recap the different attachment styles. We have secure, anxious, avoidant, disorganized attachment styles. Now, for a deeper dive into each of these attachment styles, watch this video right here after you watch this video. So, question for you: do you know which attachment style you have? If you do, comment down below, yes, I know my attachment style. If you feel comfortable sharing which one it is, go ahead and do so as well. If you don't know your attachment style, you can definitely watch the video that I suggested earlier and find out which one is your attachment style. However, do you know your partner's attachment style? If so, this will be really helpful now. If you don't know, try asking them. If you can't, that's okay. So let's go through how to communicate with your partner based on their attachment styles. If you have an anxiously attached partner, here are a few things that will help in communicating with them. The first is to reassure them frequently during times of conflict. Reassurance is going to be really helpful for them because it helps them know that you're not going to abandon or leave them. A lot of the anxious attachment styles are rooted in the fear of abandonment by their partner. The next is to use calm and validating language, such as, I hear you, I'm here for you, I may not fully understand, but I'm trying to. Or if you do understand, saying, I understand where you're coming from, and I want to work with you on how to improve this. Those are just a few examples. Because your partner may be displaying anxious or stressed emotions during this time, it is going to be more important for you to remain calm and not meet them at their level of stress or anxiety at that point. And lastly is to avoid using silence as a punishment. There are times when communication is necessary. There are times when silence is necessary. But if silence is being used as a punishment towards your partner, this is a no-go. We do not do this, especially if we want to improve or support our partners during this time. The reason why we don't do this is rooted in the fear of abandonment. They may take that as, you're leaving, you're not going to stay, you're going to abandon me. So you don't want to do that, especially not as a form of punishment. Now, how about with an avoidantly attached partner? First, you want to give them space. You do not want to be up in their space. It's just not going to be helpful. The more you push forward, the more they will pull away and run away. We don't want to do this. However, you will need to set clear expectations on when and how you will talk next. So the goal is not, all right, I'm pulling away so that you don't continue to pull away and we're just never going to talk. I'm going to pull away. I'm going to give you your space because I know that's what you need in this moment. But the expectations and the boundaries, I'm going to make them very clear. And this is what they are. Make sure to include your needs in there because you don't just want to make it all about your partner. And your partner should be able to respect your boundaries as well. So even if the boundaries are, fine, I will give you your space. However, let's touch base with this tomorrow. Let's sleep on it. Let's take a minute. Let's start therapy. Whatever the case is. But the goal is we are coming back to this. You're not going to avoid this one. Next is to encourage them to have communication with you and to open up to you by using non-threatening language. And you're like, what? I'm not threatening my partner. No. However, things that you may ask, the tone, how you say it, what you say, the words you use, all of this is going to come into play, right? So even though you may not be threatening your partner, which I hope you aren't, the words that you may use in certain situations may sound as a threat to the avoidant partner. Here are some examples of non-threatening questions. Make it more of a neutral question. So help me understand a little bit more of what you're talking about so that I can learn. Can you help me understand more of what you're saying? I'm having trouble understanding. Or tell me more about that so that I can understand. It's neutral. It has nothing to do with them other than them explaining themselves to you and helping you understand where they're coming from so they know they're actually interested in where I'm at. So my guard can come down. This question is not as threatening. Let me preface by saying the tone, what you say, yes, but how you say it is really important here. So can you help me understand how you got to that conclusion versus can you help me understand how you got to that conclusion? Two totally different tones, the same words used. You can also include some open-ended questions. So tell me more about what you thought about this, or what was your experience within this interaction that we had. So you're asking for more of their input and you're going to be in a position of receiving or listening. Those are just some examples of non-threatening questions. And the last is to avoid pushing them from sharing and talking about their feelings when they're not ready. Although this may be difficult because you want to talk about it and communication is healthy and we've got to work through this, those things are all true. But right now, that avoidant partner may not be ready to have those conversations. And so on some level, they should express to you that they're not ready. And you both can talk about when you guys are going to actively work on it. But you need to give them that space in between to step back, to take a breather, for them to gather their thoughts. And you have to respect that the same way you'd want them to respect your boundaries. And this is what people in secure attached relationships do. They respect that their partner is different from them and has different needs, desires, and ways that they feel supported as they do. So it may not be easy, but it is healthy. And remember, this is keeping in mind that you both are actively working on developing a more securely attached relationship style. So even though you may be with an anxious partner or an avoidant partner, the goal is, hey, we're working together to create a more securely attached bond and a securely attached relationship. So even though right now we're insecurely attached, we're working on it. We're not just saying, oh, this is how I am and that's it. Because we know we can work on these things. And if you need help working on these things, I have a full video on how to help you go from an insecure attachment style to a more secure attachment style. Now, with a disorganized attachment style, I'm actually not going to give you ways to communicate, because the essence of disorganized attachment style, the communication may be volatile. So it's rooted in a lot of the push and pull, and so communication may not be as effective within these types of situations. However, I am going to give you something that you can do. If you are the individual with a disorganized attachment style or you're in a relationship with one, therapy is recommended. Remember, if the goal is to get better and improve, then outside support is going to be really helpful. Therapy to work on, okay, how can I improve my attachment styles, because these can be improved. The next one is going to be emotional regulation. How can I practice regulating my emotions so it's not so much of a pull and tug of, I want my partner close, but I also fear being close in this relationship. And I want them to stay, but I also need my space and I need them to go. That can send anybody into a sense of whiplash of, you want me here one minute, you don't want me the next. That creates confusion, stress, and just is not helpful. So it would be your goal to work on those things. And if you are with a partner who has this type of attachment style, then if you're seeing them actively work on it, ask them, how can I support you in this? And listen to what they're saying. If they're not working on it, then you also have a choice of what you're going to choose to accept and what you're going to set boundaries and limits on as well. Now, I also want to leave you in general with 3 tips to help improve your relationship overall, no matter which attachment style you have. One is to practice active listening, which is the art of not speaking over people, not interrupting people, but truly understanding what they're saying. And you can show them that you're doing this by repeating back what they said to you. This is what I heard you say. Is that true? And if they say yes, let's move forward in this conversation. If they say no, then ask for clarification. That's how you show them, I actually am interested in what you're saying, where you are, and how to better understand you and work through this. Instead of, oh, okay, but listen to me. We don't want to do that. The next is to avoid blaming or assuming intent. Assuming that you know what your partner's going to say, what they're going to do, what they're thinking, can be very destructive in relationships, because it makes you question everything and doubt everything, even if they're showing you that that's not what they're doing or that's not what their intentions were. So learning to take things at face value, but also setting your own boundaries is going to be really helpful here. And if you want me to make a full video on this, let me know in the comments below. I'll be sure to do so. And then last practical tip is to be vulnerable and express your needs without fear. And this is really difficult for a lot of individuals, but it's going to be so helpful, because you want to, first of all, make sure that you're in a healthy relationship overall where you can express your needs. And then you want to practice this because it helps to create a tighter bond within your relationship. It also helps your partner to know exactly what you need, because they can't read your mind. And if they know, then they're able to actually work towards being and becoming the person that's going to support you when you need it, take a step back when you need a break, but also respect your boundaries, and also you be that version for them as well. So I hope this video was helpful overall and shed some light on how to communicate with your partner based on their attachment styles. And if you have any questions, make sure to leave it down below. And if you learned something new today, consider liking, subscribing, or commenting down below your favorite part of this video. I encourage you to watch this video right here or this one next. Take care.